Hello and welcome to my channel if you're new here, and welcome back if you've been here before. A friend of mine in one of my Facebook groups was asking about videos to cut her husband's hair, and so I thought I'd put one together here since I've been cutting my husband's hair now since probably February when they closed down all the hair salons. So to start out, I use clippers, and my husband generally prefers his hair cut all at the same length. So on the clippers, I'm using a number 6 guard. The lowest he'll usually go is about a 5. I can cut his hair pretty regularly, pretty much whenever he wants. That's the beauty of having a wife who can cut your hair. So I do it probably about once every 2 weeks or so, maybe every week depending. On the times when I do it like once a week, I'll use a 6 guard. And as you can see, I start on one side and I just start at the base, and then I move up till I hit sort of the rounded part of his head where it starts to go over the top, and I just sort of glide the clippers so they go straight and curve over, and at that point they're not really making contact anymore. So I'll start on one side, then move over to the next side, and then I go to the back and do the same thing there, and where his I guess his crown is, the pattern which your hair grows in. At that point, I usually go over that a few extra times to make sure that it clips all the hair evenly, because when he's gone to barbershops before, his big complaint about how his hair is cut is that either the right side will sort of be sticking up or that back right part will be left a bit longer. So I always try and make sure to go over that. He likes for me to do the side, the other side, the back, and then the top going back, and then going sideways over the top in order to make sure I catch any hair that might not otherwise have been cut already. So typically I'll do one round, and then in between, while he's cleaning out the hair from between the clipper and the cover of it, that's when I'll comb out his hair and try and get any loose hair that's there out, so that way I can get a good view of what got clipped and if anything didn't get clipped, and basically just get rid of any of the clipped hair out of there, so it gives, one, the look of how the hair actually looks now, and two, gives an idea of if anything was missed. And then I'll go a second round with that same guard on, so it's still the number 6. In fact, with this haircut, I'll just be using the number 6 guard. I won't be using the number 5 at all. But typically, if I use the number 5, I'll do 2 rounds with the 6 and then 2 rounds with the 5, and I'll comb his hair in between each round. Now it's time to cut around the ear, so I'll put the guard on that's for the left side first, and I'll run it around the ear on that hair, and I usually do that about 3 times. And the guard's pretty good, but I usually still have to take it off, and I will take the clippers just bare and trim around the hair, and then I'll sometimes also use the comb and lift the hair a little bit just to make sure I get it all trimmed up well enough. As you can see here, I'll gently pull down on his ear to make sure his ear stays out of the way as I trim it. And then this is the part where you can see back on the left side, our right side here, where I'm taking the clippers and just trimming the hair that didn't really get trimmed, so that way it's up higher than his ear, and also so that it sort of smoothly fades in with the rest of the hair. And I'll do the same thing with the sideburns when I'm done trimming around the ear. After finishing up around the ears, I move on to the sideburns, and I do the sideburns on both sides, and then he also has me trim his eyebrows for him. So I do the same technique on the eyebrows that I do on the sideburns, where I brush the eyebrows down or up depending, and just sort of slide the clippers over the comb, so that way the clippers only trim off what is on the side of the comb that is nearest to me, and it doesn't, like, shave the eyebrows or the sideburns off or anything. It just trims what is on the other side of the comb. Now, I only really got video of me trimming the right side, which is his left eyebrow, because my husband was right and I actually stood too much in front of the camera to trim the left eyebrow, so I didn't include that video because you'd just see the back of me. So I figured it was more constructive seeing me trim the right eyebrow, that you at least get an idea of how I do it, since the left footage was kind of wasted. And so I finish off with just combing his hair back and making sure that any loose hairs that I can get out with the comb are out, and that everything looks even and good. Now, the last thing I do is I go to the back of his head and I comb everything down, and then I trim with the clippers around the back there. I don't need a razor or anything. I find that the clippers do just fine on their own. So I just combed everything down and then made sure to just take the trimmers against his skin. It won't cut him or anything. And I just trim off any of the hair that's there and make sure it's symmetrical and that everything is trimmed and looks good. So that's it for this video. If you haven't yet, I'd appreciate it if you click the subscribe button down below and give this a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next video.